There's an NFL football analyst out there that explained just how bad the Denver Broncos are on offense in one major category. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I saw this statistic, I had to do a double take because I didn't believe it. But it is absolutely true. And I'm going to explain how the Broncos can not only fix this problem, but if they do fix it, they can expect to win a ton more games. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm sure you're wondering, who is this NFL analyst that you're talking about, Moose? Warren Sharp. Looks like a mini Tom Selleck here with that mustache. Look how thick it is. Unbelievable. But Warren Sharp, while he might not know about the X's and O's, or he doesn't have that coach's mentality, he is a math whiz. This dude understands stats, statistics, numbers, evaluations better than almost any analyst in the game. And he talked about one major area the Broncos are suffering in. But I'm going to ask you first, before we get into that, what area of the Denver Broncos must be fixed first, especially with the offense? We're not talking about the defense here, but what area of the Broncos offense should be fixed first? You let me know in the comment section down below. All right, let's talk a little bit about this. Denver's shocking regression on early downs this year. This is the stat that Denver is really struggling in right now. Number 32 in success rate on early downs. In early downs, they are 28th in EPA, expected points average, or added, and number 29 in percent of plays that gain another first down, despite a top 10 offensive line. Now, that could look like a whole lot of mumbo jumbo, but here is what Warren Sharp goes on to say to kind of simplify the answers. Some would say that a run game that averages 4.5 yards per run play is the ideal rushing to have. While that's true, a better way to describe it would be an offense that averages 4.5 to 5 yards per play. That's a sign of an offense that moves the ball methodically, it moves it well, and is likely to have more success on early downs. Run game improvements will help, and some of it falls on the offensive line. Center Luke Wattenberg has struggled with run defense, and that makes it difficult for the Broncos to run up the gut. The Broncos may need to consider a change there. Now, I just want to call a brief TV timeout. You might look at that and go, well, I knew Luke Wattenberg wasn't good. Believe it or not, he's actually been pretty decent this year. He hasn't allowed a single sack. He's been doing great in run blocking. And I know he just said, he struggles against run defense. Maybe that is an overarching takeaway as who he is as a player as a whole. But if you look at the numbers, 1 penalty, 3 games started, no sacks allowed, a pass blocking grade of 53, which is and then a run blocking grade of 71. So I don't necessarily think that Luke Wattenberg is the problem. I think what the problem is in the first half and on early downs, the Broncos' success rate has been awful. It's been terrible. So on first and second down, you fail to move the football effectively. That's inexcusable because that leads to 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 and beyond for your young quarterback, Bo Nix. And are we really going to sit here and go, Bo has to be perfect on every 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 10? Of course not. Here's another stat for you. Their early down success rate against the Chargers was 19%, which was last in week 3. And speaking of last, the Broncos rank 32nd. There's only 32 teams in early down success rate as a whole in 2025. 32%. And yet we've only lost those last 2 games by a total of 4 points. If that doesn't scream they should be 3-0, I don't know what does. And despite all of this, the Broncos' offensive line on paper is actually pretty good. Because you might be thinking to yourself, well, that clearly sounds like an offensive line issue. Nope. In pass block win rate, according to ESPN, number 1 in the NFL. Run block win rate, according to ESPN, number 10 in the NFL. This signifies to me it's a play calling issue. And I hate to say that to Sean Payton. But if your predictable play calling is leading to less success on first and second down, you'll never have success on third down, which leads to 3 and outs, which leads to you flipping the field. Your defense is on the field more tired, and gives up more points. Do you see how everything is just a snowball domino effect from the top all the way to the bottom? You got to establish the run game earlier because that's the easiest way you're going to have success. Boots on the ground, literally. Shug it forward. 12-man personnel. Power run. Establish it more and more. I think Sean Payton has clearly seen that if Bo Nix throws the ball more than 30 times, their success rate goes down. He's cleaned that up. Against the Chargers, he only threw the ball 25 times. So that's good. That's a good start. But now you really have to commit this ground game to excellence. And I'm going to prove to you why that needs to happen later on with some other players. But if you're loving this Broncos an analyst, if you're loving this Broncos analysis, hit that subscribe button right now. If you love breakdowns of your favorite team and how they can get better every single Sunday or Monday, hit that subscribe button and move forward. Now, coming up next, one other move to activate the offense. I just talked to you about how the analysts broke it down, but how do you actually fix it? What's a pragmatic way of making sure the Denver Broncos have more success on early downs? I've got you covered. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Do not miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. Very simple to play. Pick 2 to 6 players and their stat projections. And once you do that, you can watch your money multiply. Pick the more or the less on those players, and boom, you're ready to go. I'm sure you're wondering what it looks like to actually play Prize Picks. I've got you covered there as well. I made a lineup for Week 4. Jalen Hurts, my max discount play, more than half a passing yard. Cortland Sutton, more on the receiving yards. And then, of course, Will Lutz, I'm going to say more than 1.5 field goals. Yours can look like this if you download the Prize Picks app. Download it today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Okay, so how do the Denver Broncos get better? What are the moves they need to make in order to activate this early down success? How about Jaleel McLaughlin? Wait, Moose, didn't you say that he's a trade candidate? Yes, and he still is. But Jaleel McLaughlin can not only boost his trade value by actually getting in the game, but he's great at bending around offensive tackles. Left tackle, right tackle, outside rushing, zone scheme. Jaleel absolutely dominates in this field. Oh, and guess who else agrees? Warren Sharp. Here's what he said. It may also help the Broncos to activate third-year running back Jaleel McLaughlin on some game days and take advantage of his ability to get around the ends, meaning the tackles. Booyah. Left tackle Garrett Bowles and right tackle Mike McGlinchey are good run blockers, and several Broncos receivers can block well, so that would take out some pressure off the run game for the interior. And we know that J.K. Dobbins, while he has the ability to bounce outside, is more of a north to south runner. Well, you've got 2 dudes that are currently on your 53 that are on the active game day roster, or at least should be, in Jaleel McLaughlin and R.J. Harvey. They both succeed tremendously in this. So, as just a spitball idea from yours truly, why not try the 3-man combo of J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, and Jaleel McLaughlin? See if it does anything. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you go back to the drawing board and you try and try again. The truth is, though, that if you look at this running back depth chart, if you look at the room that the Broncos currently have, J.K. Dobbins is your in-between the guards, that power north to south runner. R.J. Harvey, a little bit more explosive of a playmaker, likes to get outside. Tyler Bidet, great in pass blocking. Jaleel, also kind of like an R.J. Harvey, can make a lot happen once you get outside the tackles. So do it. Run the ball 25 times against the Cincinnati Bengals. They don't have a good defense. Not against the pass, not against the run. If you can establish yourself with an identity against this team, not only does it help the momentum going forward, but it shows that there is a way to beat inferior teams. And like I said, Bengals defensive stats, they're not good. Yards allowed per game, 25th. Passing yards allowed per game, 25th. Rushing yards allowed per game, 21st. And points allowed per game, 26th. This is a very gettable defense. It doesn't even have to be a Bo Nix legacy game. Just do the little things right and beat your opponent. Move into week 5 against the Philadelphia Eagles with the momentum on your side. It is the ultimate must-win, get-right game for the Broncos. Period. That's all I got for you on today's episode. I'll just end it with that mic drop moment. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you haven't already. And as always, Broncos country, mile high salute. Be cool.